Welcome back. All right, so 9 games tonight in the National Hockey League. We're going to go through them. Some surprising results, some not as surprising results, definitely. And a couple of shutouts to talk to you guys about tonight. So we'll start things off with the Chicago Blackhawks in against the New Jersey Devils. So Soderblom versus Vanacek. New Jersey wearing the Jersey jerseys, which is always great. I really wish the helmets had helmet written across the back of them. I think they're missing out on a really good opportunity there. Hamilton's denied early. The shots are 3-2 for the Devils at 5 minutes. The Hawks press at 6 minutes. Entwistle has a rush chance that saved. The Devils press with 9.5 minutes left. And Hamilton would open the scoring for New Jersey from Hughes and Howla at 11:27. And as soon as I saw that scoring, I was like, oh, Triple H. Domi is then denied as the Hawks try to answer. Hawks had some momentum with 4 minutes left. Kara has a net drive. That saved. McCabe flattens Heischer. 1:15 left. The Hawks get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. New Jersey would finish the kill. Heischer then had a rush chance. That draws a power play. Tatar's denied. That's killed off. But then at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, it's a 2-0 game. It's Heischer from Siegenthaler and Hamilton. The Hawks would get a power play. That was killed off. The Devils press at 9 minutes. Hamilton has a rush chance that's saved. Hamilton was all over the ice tonight. Devils press, that draws them a power play, and they'd score on it. It's Bratt at 14:58 from Hughes and Hamilton. And he wired that one top corner. Tough save there. Athanasiou is then denied on a rush. So we're going to the third period with the score 3-0 for New Jersey. Net feed to Tatar, near miss there. Soderblom gets shaken up. Tatar's stick had gone into his mask. Thankfully, he was okay. He stayed in the game. You can see the backup. The kid there, yeah, he was a little nervous, I think, about going in. But he did get ready just in case, and then they went over and told him, no, you're all right. Long stretch with no whistle, which of course works to the advantage of the Devils here. Hawks get a power play. That's killed off. Holtz has a rush chance to save. The shots are 3-2 for the Devils with 7.5 minutes left. Marino broke up a stretch pass. So they were trying for, I think it was a home run pass to Kane they were trying, and nope, he broke that up. Jack Johnson fires one high. The Hawks push. The Devils then press with 2 minutes left, and they end up winning this one 3-0. They go to 21-4-1. So New Jersey, a really solid game tonight. Chicago, another loss, 7-14-4. The 3 stars in this one, Vanacek, Hamilton, and Hughes. The shots 13-10 Chicago in the first, 10-7 New Jersey in the second, 9-4 New Jersey in the third. Final shots 29-24 for the Devils. Power plays, Chicago 0 for 3, New Jersey 1 for 2. The hits, not very many, 13-7 Chicago. Soderblom saves 26 out of 29, and with his 8th career shutout, Vanacek saves all 24 shots he faced. So there you go. New Jersey wins a game in their last one that they, maybe were a little lucky with, and then this one, yeah, this was a pretty solid win for them overall. All right, next on the board, Columbus in against Pittsburgh. So it was Merzlikins versus Jari, and Columbus jumps out to an early lead. It's Gaudreau from line A at 1 minute. It's scored on a rush, and it's the first shot. So watching that, you probably think, well, Jari might have a rough night. Nope. The shots are 5-3 for Columbus at 8.5 minutes. The Blue Jackets get a power play. And there's some power play time for Marchenko, who is making his NHL debut tonight. That was killed off, but Columbus goes back to the power play. The Penguins kill that one off as well. Their penalty kill very good tonight. Gavrikov has a rush chance. That's blocked. Final minute, there's a press by Columbus. But after the first period, it is 1-0 for Columbus. Doesn't last very long into the second period. It's Rust, who I've been mentioning. He was cold. Now he's on a hot streak. Look out. Dumoulin with the assist at 1:15. The Penguins look for the lead, and they get it less than a minute later at 2:02. It's Crosby from Gensel and Raquel. Penguins look for more. They have all kinds of momentum, but the Columbus Blue Jackets get a power play. That's killed off. There's a post then for Corrali. The Penguins get a power play. The Penguins would score. Goalie interference challenge. It's not successful. So it's Crosby with the power play goal from Gensel and Malkin at 10:14. And since it counts and it was challenged, now there's a power play for Pittsburgh. Malkin fires one high, and then that power play is killed off. Penalty shot was awarded to Teddy Bluger. That was saved. Bluger, of course, came into tonight without a goal yet this season. Columbus presses with 3 minutes left. Jenner had a rush chance that's saved. But after 2 periods, it's 3-1 Pittsburgh. Third period, early Penguins power play. That's killed off. Columbus gets a power play. Really aggressive penalty kill by the Penguins. Not giving them any time with the puck. Not giving them easy entries. They kill it off. Goodbranson has a shot that's saved. Laine was then denied on a net drive. Columbus presses at the half. The Penguins would get a power play. We get 25 seconds of 4-on-4. Then Columbus gets a power play. That's killed off. And then at 16:33, as Elvis is trying to leave the net to get to the bench for the sixth attacker, he got caught in no man's land. Tried diving to get the puck before it goes in, but Bluger gets that one from Rust at 16:33. It's not technically an empty netter, but it kind of sort of is. As Elvis crashed into the boards, he was just trying to make that save any way he could. Penguins then get a power play, and that ends it. Your final score is 4-1 for Pittsburgh, wearing their reverse retros. They go to 14-8-4 on the season. For the Blue Jackets, 8-14-2. And again, the math for Columbus now, if they're going to get into this race, just gets worse every time we see a result like this. 3 stars are Crosby, Rust, and Bluger. So nice to see Teddy Bluger on the list. Shots, 10-9 Columbus in the first, 18-13 Pittsburgh in the second, 16-7 Columbus in the third. They did outshoot Pittsburgh 39-34. Power plays, Columbus 0-for-5, Pittsburgh 1-for-5 the hits, 29-27 Pittsburgh. Merzlikins saves 30 out of 34. Jari allows a goal on his first shot and then saved the next 38. So ends up having an excellent night. Thanks for asking. Next up, Detroit in against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So this is a big test, right? And again, I've said this stretch of games for Detroit now will test them, and we'll see where they're at. Based on tonight's results, well, closing it out is definitely a problem for a young team, but hey, however you get it done, you get it done. Husso versus Vasilevsky in this one. The Red Wings press at 2 minutes. In fact, 2.5 minutes in, the shots are 4-0 for the visiting team here. Bolts get a power play. Hedman fires one wide as it ends. The Wings would then press at 6.5 minutes. Good puck pressure by the Wings at this point as well, not giving Tampa Bay any easy entries, all that fun stuff. Post then for Osterley, which made me think, so Posterley then? But no, and every time he said it, I was like, Posterley. It's one of those things that'll get in my head and then it doesn't go anywhere. So, Bolts press, 9 minutes left. Cirelli fires one wide on a 2-on-1. The Bolts are turning it over at this point as well, which does point to strong puck pressure by the Wings. Strong first period for the Wings, but it's still scoreless. Early in the second, that changes. It's Rasmussen from Kubalik and Hronik at 1:54. He buries that one in close and makes it 1-0 Detroit. Bolts press, they draw themselves a power play. That's killed off, but Tampa Bay presses after. The Wings then press back at 7 minutes. The shots are 3 apiece at the half, but of course one of those 3 shots has gone in for Detroit. Bolts have a 3-on-2, that's broken up, and then they press again with 3.5 minutes left. With 2:37 left, though, the Wings get a power play. Tampa Bay do kill that off. So that was Detroit's only power play in the game. Third period, early jump was for Tampa. Things get pushy after a hold by Husso. 4.5 minutes into the third period, the shots are 8-1 for Tampa. And they would basically stay at that rate. Like, it was just absolutely ridiculous. Husso was under siege in that third period. Perron is denied on a 2-on-1, but then Berggren scores from Mata and Veleno at 5:59 to make it 2-0. But Tampa Bay still coming. They press at 7.5 minutes. Raymond was then denied an opportunity. The Bolts press the other way. Pushy after a save by Husso. There's a near miss for Stamkos in close. His next attempt was defended, didn't get to the net. Bolts press with 7 minutes left. They would pull the goaltender with 5:15 left, and this is kind of standard for Tampa. And then they score 6-on-5 at Stamkos with his, I think, 495th from Hedman and Perry at 14:52, and that one's blasted through a screen. So we're getting closer to a Stamkos career video. Goalie pull then with 4 minutes left. That allows Detroit to hit the empty net. It's Ernie from Kopp at 16:22. That was from about 180 feet away. Goalie pull then with 3:10 left, and they score again, 6-on-5. It's point from Killorn and Kucherov at 17:34. So this is crazy. The goalie's been pulled 3 times, and each time the goalie gets pulled, somebody scores. Twice it's Tampa, once it's Detroit. So with 1:03 left, we're going to pull the goaltender a 4th time. I wrote 3rd, but it's the 4th time. And Perron hits the empty net from Kopp and Hronik at 19:36. So yeah, the game-winning goal is the empty netter by Ernie, showing how crazy this was. Detroit wins 4-2. They were under siege that whole third period, but they win it. They go to 13-7-5 on the season. For Tampa Bay, they're 15-9-1 with the loss. Your 3 stars in this one: Husso, and Husso. Just kidding. Husso, Vasilevsky, and Cirelli. Shots: 12-11 Detroit in the first, 7-5 Detroit in the second, 30-7 for Tampa Bay in the third. 30 shots in the third period. So That's more than 1 a minute. So I wonder if anybody warned Husso before the third period. Dude, we are really tired. Like, we might have been drinking before the game. I don't know, but we just don't have the wheels. So I really hope you can hold this. Anyways, the power plays 0 for 1 for Detroit and 0 for 2 for Tampa. Hits 31-24 in favor of Detroit. Husso, 44 saves on 46 shots. Ridiculous night. And Vasilevsky saves 22 out of 24. So both goaltenders allowed 2 goals, but there were 2 empty netters by Detroit. So one of those really weird score lines you have to explain to people after. How does that happen? Both goalies allowed 2. Well, yeah, there was a goalie pull, and here, get the dolls. I'll show you. All right, next up. LA in against the Ottawa Senators. This is a tough one if you're a Sens fan. The Sens had momentum coming out of the weekend. Mine was kind of tempered. I thought, it really can be a situation where you have a couple of really good games and then you can fall into some old habits. It was Copley versus Talbot. And there was an oops during the U.S. anthem. I expect that to go viral if it hasn't already. She forgot the words to the Star Spangled Banner. What she did was she got ahead of herself and she was singing the wrong. And then as soon as you realize you've sung the wrong words in front of people, I feel bad for anthem singers. You've got 17,000 people listening to you sing. It's easy to mess up words. Like I know the Star Spangled Banner. I know Canada. It would be easy for me to mess up words in front of that many people, especially since I can't sing. So early on at 1:35, Roy scores from Durzi and Kopitar. I guess it could be one of those anthem singers that just holds the microphone out like this and just conducts the crowd. So Roy buries the rebound. All right, can Ottawa rebound? No. At 2:15, 40 seconds later, it's Anderson from Lizotte and Iafallo. Roy and Mikey Anderson with the goals to start this game. And that was during a line change. So Ottawa didn't get their line change done as quickly as the Kings, and the Kings make them pay. Sens call a timeout. They didn't have a shot yet in this game. Sens get a power play. They score on it. At 5:14, it's Batherson from Stützle and Shabbat. This is Kings. So all I could think was, if this is going to be another 9-8 game, boy. Which is why I wasn't taking nearly as many notes in the second period. So on the Batherson goal, he buries a rebound as well. So buried rebounds are key here. Kastelik then had a rush chance. That was blocked. The Kings would get a power play. They score on it. It's Arvidsson, who apparently has now scored 10 goals in 10 games in his career against Talbot. He's very good against Talbot. And Moore and Durzi with the assists at 8:43, and he buried it from the side of the net. Then Arvidsson scores again at 11:26 from Fiala and Kopitar. The Sens tried to answer, and I went, you know what? It's already 4-1 in the first period. We'll see how much more scoring there is. There wasn't more scoring before the end of the first. Second period, Moore has a rush chance to save. The shots are 2-1 for the Senators at 5.5 minutes. It was much quieter in the second period than the first. The Sens press, that draws them a power play. It becomes a 4-on-4, which means it becomes a Kings power play. And during that brief, I think it was 35 second power play for the Kings, they score. It's Fiala from Doughty and Kopitar at 12:55. So for Anze Kopitar, that's 3 assists. He's doing pretty well. Sens press late, but they're kept to the outside. So after 2 periods, it is 5-1 for the LA Kings. But again, it's the Kings. So watching this, I thought, really this game should be over. But I saw the game against Seattle. Third period, Kopitar with a net drive. That's defended. The Kings get a power play. Fiala nearly scores, but that's killed off. Sens get a power play. They score on theirs. It's Shabbat from DeBrincat and Stützle at 9:34. Well, it's 5-2. There's enough time left. Maybe, right? Velarde has a net feed that misses. Giroux is denied from in close. Stützle tries to feed one to Giroux in front of the net. Near miss there, and if Giroux had got it, he would have buried it. Shots are 8-8 with the shots are 8-8 with 4 minutes left. There you go. 3:32 left. The Sens get a power play. They pull the goaltender to make it 6-on-4. It does not succeed. Your final score is 5-2 for the Kings. They go to 14-10-4 with the win. For the Sens, tough loss, 10-14-1. And this is where the Sens have that problem. They've got to go on a streak, and every time a loss like this crops up, it becomes more and more difficult. 3 stars are Arvidsson, Kopitar, and Fiala. The shots in this one, 12-11 Ottawa in the first, 8-7 Ottawa in the second, 13-10 Ottawa in the third. Final shots, 33-28 for the Senators. Power plays, LA 2 for 3, Ottawa 2 for 4. So the penalty kill needs some work for both teams. Hits, 31-16 for Ottawa. Copley looked good, 31 saves on 33 shots. Ottawa managed no goals, 5-on-5. Copley was a part of the reason why. Talbot saved 9 out of 14. That's not great. And then Forsberg saved all 14 in relief. So we'll see what they do next game. The goaltending issue doesn't have to be one, but I think Forsberg's going to start in the next game. All right, so that being said, yeah, Kings, pretty important and pretty big win there. All right, next up, St. Louis in against the New York Islanders. So St. Louis is another game that you just never know what you're going to get, and tonight was another really good example of that. So it's Greiss versus Sorokin. The Islanders had the early jump. Levo had a shot that was held. Josh Levo's playing really well right now, and yet I know he's going to end up being waived and sent to the minors. It's how things work, and it's too bad. Blues get a power play. That's killed off. Managed 2 shots. The shots are 2 apiece at 7 minutes. So no shots at 7 minutes other than the power play for the Blues. Islanders, when the Blues get another power play, didn't let them set up. It was killed off. No shots, and the Islanders rushed the other way. The Islanders press with 7.5 minutes left. The shots are 11-3 in favor of New York with 5 minutes left. So, yeah, Greiss was pretty important early on there. Kyrie's denied from the slot, and then Levo opens the scoring from Shen at 17-13. But less than a minute later, you know that shift after the goal when it's like, all right, now make sure they don't answer. The Islanders do. It's Dobson from Barzal and Wallstrom at 17:52 as they keep getting excellent offense from their blue line in New York. And in the last minute, there's a press by the Blues, but it's 1-1 after 1. Second period, Islanders press at 3 minutes, but then on a 2-on-1, the Blues make it 2-1. It's Barbashev from Bitton and Mikkola at 3:51. That is Will Bitton's first NHL point. Islanders press, that draws them a power play. Nelson has a blast that's held. That power play is killed off. The shots are 9-4 in favor of the New York Islanders at 9 minutes. Dobson has a net feed. That's picked off. Near miss for Levo then on a tipped shot in front. Tarasenko's denied from the slot. Levo tried to wrap around, that wouldn't go. So O'Reilly scores. Again, he's playing well right now. From Levo and Falk at 14:58. He buried his own rebound, so not much chance for Sorokin there. Then Parise fires wide on a 3-on-1. So after 2 periods, it's 3-1 for St. Louis. Third period, Parise's denied on a rush. The Blues press at 3.5 minutes, and then at 3:37 they score. It's Achari from Walker and Falk, and then 13 seconds later, Parayko scores from Kyrou and Leddy at 3:50. So what did I say out loud? Well, it looks like their streak of allowing 3 goals in a period's over. I would like to apologize to Blues fans everywhere for saying it out loud. There's microphones in here, something outside of just this one. I don't know, because the Islanders seem to take that as a challenge. They get a power play. They score on it at 5:36. It's Parise from Bailey and Dobson. Dobson had a rush chance that was blocked, but later on in the period, it's Fasching with his first goal of the season from Martin and Nelson at 14:43. It was a good press, tips it in. And then at 15:04, Pajot scores. So that's 3 in a row for the Islanders in the third period, and the streak is still alive. Pajot from Parise, and that makes it a much closer game than it had any right to be. So again, for 8 straight games now, the St. Louis Blues have at least had one period where they've allowed 3 goals or more. So it's a record they want to get rid of. I really thought tonight was the night. But with the goalie pulled at 18:03, Thomas hits the empty net from Saad. They pull the goaltender again. Achari would score at 18:55, his second goal of the game, second goal of the period. And in that period, there were 7 goals. So your final score is 7-4 for St. Louis. It's an ugly one, but they'll take it. They're 12-14 with the win. For the Islanders, they're 16-11 with the loss. Your 3 stars in this one, Levo, Falk, and Dobson. Yeah, Josh Levo, first star. Fantastic. Shots, 13-6. Where's my Levo picture? It's up there somewhere. I do have a Levo picture of him when they won the Calder Cup, and he was MVP. So, shots 13-6 in favor of the Islanders in the first, 14-13 Islanders in the second, 13-9 Islanders in the third. Final shots 40-28 for the Islanders. Power plays, St. Louis 0-2, the Islanders 1-2. The hits 21-18 for the Islanders. Greiss saves 36 out of 40. I thought he played well. Yeah, there's 3 goals in the third, but what are you going to do? The Blues do it every game. Sorokin saved 21 out of 26. But I thought Sorokin played all right too. Just there was some iffy defense on both ends tonight. All right, that being said, I need to change boards. Next up, Florida in against the Winnipeg Jets. So this, honestly, for the Jets, I thought this was a big game, and I thought they played like it was. So it was Knight versus Hellebuck, early jump for the Jets. They would press at 3.5 minutes, and the shots were 4-1 in their favor at 5 minutes. They came out very well, which is the key thing against Florida. Get off to a good start. Panthers were stuck on one shot for a while. DeMello has a rush chance. That draws a power play. That's killed off. The Panthers rush the other way, but the Jets would go back to the power play and they score on it. It's Scheifele from Dubois and Morrissey at 13:20, but the Panthers get a power play as well, and then they score on theirs. It's Verhaeghe from Tkachuk and Montour at 14:11. He wires that one top shelf. Nice goal for Verhaeghe. But 17 seconds later, it's Kyle Connor. We said, right? Once he gets that goal, he's going to go on a bit of a run, and here he is from Dubois and Dillon. And so it's 2-1 with 2:57 left. The Jets then get a power play trying to add to the lead. Near miss for Connor. The Panthers clear it out. That was killed off. Tkachuk then with a rush chance. His shot was saved. After one period, it is 2-1 in favor of the Winnipeg Jets. Early in the second period, some good patience shown by Kyle Connor. Waits for the 5-hole to open up, and he buries it at 1:43 from Dubois. And that's the end of the night for Spencer Knight. In goes Bobrovsky. It's still early in the second period. They're down by 2. It is Florida. Paul Maurice probably thinking, we put in Bobrovsky. That might turn around the momentum. And it did. Lomberg has a chance that's held. The shots are 5-2 for Florida at 5 minutes. Panthers press at 8.5 minutes. We then had a fight between Cousins and Pionk. Who had that one coming? Jets get a power play. They score on it. It's Scheifele again. From Connor and Schmidt at 13:23. The Panthers would then get a power play. There's a near miss for Bennett. Pionk clears it out. A shorthanded rush chance by Schmidt. That was saved. They do kill that off. With 1:05 left, the Panthers go back to the power play. They had a lot of shots in that second period. Connor Hellebuyck saves every last one of them. Did he get into the 3 stars? Nah. Third period, Jets finish the kill. Glove save on Forsling. That's held. Panthers go back to the power play. There's a shorthanded rush by Lowry. That was defended, but the power play's killed off. Wheeler was then denied on a 3-on-1. The fans called one, the referee didn't. And not long after, Delpy, yes, Zach Delpy, back in the NHL, scores from Tierney and Kierstead. So Florida going through some injury problems of their own. And at 9:02, 3 guys who were in the lineup because of injury problems combined on a goal. Scored on the rush. So that's a nice story, although it makes it 4-2. So you're trying to come back, but it's Florida. You have to watch out for that. Jets press with 9 minutes left. Wheeler has a net drive shot that's held. Florida would pull the goaltender. That allows the empty netter to be scored. It was Lowry from Sandberg at 16:59. The Panthers would press in the final minute. In the end, your final score is 5-2 for the Jets. They go to 16-7-1 with the win. For Florida, they're 12-10-4 with the loss. 3 stars are Scheifele, Connor, and Dubois. The shots in this one, 14-7 Winnipeg in the first, 25-8 Florida in the second. So we're starting to see periods of hockey where there's these ridiculous shot totals. We saw it on the last board. We see it on this one. Oh, and last night, of course, Washington did that as well. So ridiculous. The shots in the third were 9 apiece. Final shots, 41-31 for Florida. Power plays, 1-for-4 for Florida, 2-for-4 for Winnipeg. The hits, 20-15 for Winnipeg. Spencer Knight saves 12 out of 15. Bobrovsky saves 14 out of 15. And Hellebuyck, 39 saves on 41 shots. Not quite 3 stars worthy, but I would have given him one of the stars because that's a pretty impressive number right there. All right, next up, Toronto in against Dallas. I'm going to say this straight up at the top of this. I think this was the best game I've seen Toronto play this year. And I guarantee it's the best game I've seen Matt Murray play as a Leaf. I would go to this being the best game I've seen Matt Murray play since before the Sens signed him. So looking back to when he was with Pittsburgh. So it's Murray versus Ottinger. Stars get an early power play. Johnston has a shot that's held. That was killed off 5 shots. There were a lot of power plays. 17 of the shots by Dallas tonight were on power plays. So the shots are 6-1 Dallas at 4.5 minutes. But Tavares opens the scoring at 4:51 from Marner and Giordano. So with Marner getting the assist, that is a 20-game point streak. And as you can tell, Robertson's point streak is done. And this is the first time that 2 guys with an 18-plus game point streak have met each other in NHL history. So that's weird and probably won't happen again. But yeah, Marner extends his point streak and Tavares with a nice goal. Sagan's then denied. The Leafs get a power play. Sagan was denied a lot tonight. Near miss for Tavares. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Dellandrea fires wide. There was a shorthanded 3-on-1. Murray holds on there. That's killed off. There's a near miss for Johnston as the Stars press. Johnston might have been the best player for Dallas tonight. Post for Tavares. Stars press with 5 minutes left. There was a tipped Hakanpää shot that was saved. And then on a turnover, Matthews buries it. Scores at 17:36, makes it 2-0 Toronto, and then Marner almost added another. So after one period of play, it's 2-0 for Toronto. Second period, the Stars get a power play. There's a shorthanded Aston Reese rush. That's broken up. And then there was a shorthanded chance for Engvall. Wouldn't quite go, but they do kill that off. Leafs get a power play. Marner's denied. Near miss for Tavares. That was killed off, and then Kivi Ranta had a fast break. That's saved. Stars get a 4-minute power play, and this kind of is the game to me. So Sagan has a shot that's held because he wasn't allowed to score tonight. Shorthanded Nylander chance is saved. Toronto kills the entire 4-minute power play. And then at 12:19, Sandin would score from Bunting and Matthews. So that makes it 3-0. Nice goal by Sandin. Who knew? I mean, I've talked about maybe they should give him some ice time. Here he is getting ice time. He looks pretty good. Too many Leafs on the ice. The Stars get a power play. That's killed off. With 1:55 left, there's another Stars power play. Then it became 1 minute and 38 seconds of 5-on-3, and Murray with the heroics on save after save after save. As I said, 17 shots during power plays for Dallas tonight. So to start the third period, Toronto does the important thing. They finish that kill off. That's gone. That's off the board. That was the 7th power play for Dallas. They don't get another one. And they had to know on the bench, like, okay, we've had 7. We're not getting another. Pressed by the Leafs at 4 minutes. The shots are 3-1 in their favor at 5 minutes. Again, I thought a really smart game being played by Toronto at that point. Heiskanen has a rush chance that's held. Johnston had a rush shot that was blocked. Murray holds on to a chance for Miller as he's rushing the net. They'd pull the goaltender with 5.5 minutes left because why not? And the empty netter's Kerfoot with his first goal in a while from Liljegren at 16:07. I think they said 13 games for Kerfoot since his last goal. And Murray's the story in this. The final score is 4-0 for Toronto. They go to 16-5-6. Dallas drops to 14-7-5 with the loss. The 3 Stars are Murray, Matthews, and Marner. So if your name starts with them, you have a good chance of being in the 3 Stars. The shots, 15-10 Dallas in the first, 17-12 Dallas in the second, 12-7 Dallas in the third. Final shots are 44-29 for Dallas. And yet, I think Toronto played a really good game. So there's that. Power plays, Toronto 0 for 2, Dallas 0 for 7. Again, 17 of these shots are on the power play, so 5-on-5, the play was very even. So the hits, 22-21 for Toronto. Murray saves all 44 shots for his 15th career shutout. Ottinger saves 25 out of 28. He was good, but the guy at the other end was better. So Dallas got goaltendered tonight by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Pretty impressive all-around game for Toronto tonight. All right, next up, Carolina in against Anaheim. And I don't think this was a trap game situation. And I know the score would indicate that it was, but I don't feel that. Because for Carolina, they really want to stay on this hot streak they've just gotten started. And now it's stumbling. And yet at the same time, Gibson played really well. So it was Kochetkov versus Gibson. Zegras has a net drive that's blocked. At 3:59, Henrique opens the scoring from Shattenkirk and Terry. Terry got the secondary assist, was added shortly into the second period when they added that secondary assist. And that was after Pesce got hit with the puck. So it was a tough play for Carolina because Pesce was injured. He exited, but it was during a scoring play, so they had to let the play go, and Henrique gets the goal. But the lead doesn't last. At 5:38, Shea scores from Drury and Stastny. He wired that one over the glove. And again, it's Anaheim, so the expectation is, well, this is probably where Carolina's going to take over. That was not the case. The Canes get a power play. Nason's denied and close, but that's killed off. The shots are 6-4 for the Canes at the half. But at 11:13, it's Comtois scoring from Silverberg. That makes it 2-1. It was a one-timer. Good forecheck by Silverberg there to set it up. Canes get a power play. Aho's denied. Burns has a shot that deflects out. That power play's killed off. Jones was then denied in alone at the horn. So after the first period, it's 2-1 for Anaheim, and it felt like it could have been more than that for Anaheim. Second period, crossbar for Aho on a rush. The Ducks get a power play. Really aggressive penalty kill by the Canes. Burns then saved a goal, cleared it out, and that's killed off. It looked good, though. That was a good power play for the Ducks. They don't score on their power plays tonight, but, faint praise, right? So the Ducks press at 5.5 minutes. The shots are 11-6 for the Canes at 8.5 minutes. And at 10:16, Carolina ties it. It's Aho from Jarvis and Slavin. Point shot that's deflected twice. And because it's deflected to Aho, and Aho deflects it into the net. No chance there for Gibson. And then at 10:59, Ducks get the lead back. It's Leeson on a break from McTavish. Canes try to tie it again. Eventually they do at 15:49. It's Stahl from Burns and Fast. Burns Fast. I'm putting those up next to each other. I was like, that's kind of funny. Anyways, the Canes press for the lead. Shattenkirk had a shot that deflects out. 30 seconds left. The Ducks get a power play. That rolls over into the third period where the Canes do finish the kill, and that'd be the end of the power plays for them. Leeson has a rush that's defended. The shots are 2-0 for the Ducks at 4 minutes, which I thought was key. I thought, this is one of the better games for the Ducks this year. They're against a Canes team that, realistically probably should be beating them, but they're not. The Ducks are controlling play, and the Canes are icing it. Then Benoit takes a puck from Martinook. Martinook really didn't appreciate how Benoit bodied him off that puck and went back after him. Benoit's a big guy. I wouldn't recommend it. Terry has a rush chance that's saved. Jarvis misses one high from in close. Burns had a rush chance that's saved. Zegras then had a shot blocked as the Ducks press. The Ducks press in the final minute. And hey, we're going to overtime. And for the first time this season, the Ducks never trailed in this game. That record is gone. They never trailed once in this game. They led 1-0. They led 2-1. They led 3-2. And then we get to overtime. Ducks control early at 1:56. They score it. So the Canes get caught in a line change. They're tired. They're exhausted. So one player tries to jump off. Here's the interesting thing. The guy that jumped on, there was like a miscommunication between the two of them. The referee totally could have called too many men on the ice call there. Doesn't matter. Before the puck's even touched by anybody Canes related, Strome scores from Fowler and Vetrano at 1:56. And it's a 2-on-1 because, again, when you've got that miscommunication at the bench, you're leaving a lopsided situation on the ice in a 3-on-3. So the Ducks win this one 4-3 in overtime. They go to 7-17-3. Overtime's been the bane of the existence of Carolina. They're 14-6-6. Practice does not make perfect. So the three stars in this one are Strome, McTavish, and Aho. Shots are 10-9 Carolina in the first, 20-10 Carolina in the second, 10-7 Anaheim in the third as they decided we might as well try. And then they get the only shot of overtime. That's the shot that matters. Final shots 37-30 for Carolina. Power plays, both teams 0 for 2. The hits 22-12 for Anaheim. Kochetkov 26 saves on 30 shots. Gibson saved 34-37. Impressive win for Anaheim. And I mean, Brian Hayward said after, it's a big win. I don't know about big win, but it's nice to see that things went well for Anaheim tonight. It's been a rough year. And so, yeah. There's a win on their record, and they pull within, I think they're just 1 point now behind Chicago. So that's something. All right, moving along. Montreal in against Seattle. The Shane Wright versus the team that passed on him game, and the Slavkovsky versus the guy that was passed in favor of drafting him instead. So it's Allen versus Jones. Sprong misses one wide. The Habs rush. The shots are 3-2 for Seattle at 5.5 minutes. Bjorkstrand has a shot that deflects out. The Habs press. That draws them a power play. There's a shorthanded rush for Gord. Allen poke checks him off of that. The power play is killed off. And then it's first goal time. The first of the first goals is Kovacevic from Matheson and Doc at 12:56. So there you go. On only, I think that was their third shot of the period. They get the goal. And then Wright answers at 15:30. Yes, Shane Wright gets his first NHL goal. Who knew? I thought he was ruined. Everybody's been talking about he's ruined and they're destroying him. Gets a goal in his first game back from Bjorkstrand. He also played almost 5 minutes of ice time in the first period in this one. That's at 15:30. Kraken then get a power play. That was killed off. Good first period for Allen because the shots are 11-4 and the score's tied at 1. So I look at the goaltender that saved the 10 and think, good on you because your team allowing a lot of shots. Second period at 2:05, it's Caulfield from Suzuki. Turnover. Great pass and buried. And it's just Suzuki and Caulfield have this amazing affinity for one another, this amazing synergy when they're on the ice. It's magical to watch, and I've been saying it since last year. And people last year said, it's overblown. It's not that he's just saying this to give hope. And no, this is something to watch. And now we're seeing it through a full season as well. Anderson would also score at 7 seconds later. Anderson from Dvorak and Slavkovsky. So I don't need to tell you, those are back-to-back shots. In fact, those were the first 2 shots of the second period. So in 6 shots, they had 3 goals. So Martin Jones, who had the really good save percentage a couple weeks ago, yeah, that's gone. And I mean, I've said too, like, what do they do when Drieger gets back? I think I'm figuring out what happens when Drieger gets back. It's still a long time before Drieger gets back, but Jones has got to clean this up. So the Kraken try to answer. They get a power play. Eberle can't bury one. They cycle. It's killed off. Then there's a delay game call. The Habs get a power play there. Good cycle. The Kraken, though, they're shot blocking. They do kill that off. The shots are 6-3 for Seattle with 5 minutes left. So since that goal, in over 13 minutes, Montreal only has one shot. Doesn't matter. They're still up 3-1. 2:56 left. Montreal gets a power play. We then had 1 minute and 14 seconds of 4-on-4 with 2:10 left. And during 4-on-4, tic-tac-toe goal on a rush. It's Rem Pitlick. Yeah, his first goal of the season from Edmondson and Evans. So at 18:40, it is suddenly 4-1, even though Montreal has 8 shots in the entire game. They have 4 goals, and for Seattle, it's tough. So everything gets killed off, and then with barely any time left on the clock, McCann scores from Burakovsky, makes it 4-2. So this is the one thing you worry about with Montreal. Look at the game last night. As for instance, finishing's been a problem. Third period, would it be a problem? Let's discuss. Gord's denied. Seattle presses. Borgen has a shot that goes wide. 3.5 minutes in, the shots are 3-0 for Seattle. A few whistles, which I thought favored the Habs early on here. Kraken press at the half. The Habs press back, but they're kept to the outside. The Habs were doing a pretty good job of protecting the lead. There was the one chance for Bjorkstrand on a turnover where he got denied, but there weren't a lot of really good prime chances at that point in the game. 4:52 left. The Habs had a power play, which I thought, well, that should end it. That was killed off, but now you're down to 2:52 left, and you're down by 2. Goalie pull with a little over 2 minutes left. Things get pushy after a hole by Allen. Seattle frustrated with this, but in the end, 4-2 win for Montreal. So they go to 13-11-2. For Seattle, they're now 15-7-3. Is this the start of Seattle dropping off? That's a question that I was thinking of just during this game. Is this where we start to see Seattle starting to look like what we expected Seattle to be this year? Your 3 stars, Caulfield, Allen, and Wright. Shots, 11-4 Seattle in the first, 8-4 Seattle in the second, 14-8 Seattle in the third. The final shots are 33-16 in favor of Seattle. Power plays, Montreal 0-4, Seattle 0-3. The hits, 25-17 Montreal. Allen saves 31 out of 33. Jones had a rough night, 12 saves on 16 shots. So, yeah, we'll see how things go for Seattle from here. But let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I kind of glow in the dark with this, don't I? Anyways, thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.